Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today's story is titled, My Husband Fell in Love with My Male Best Friend, Part 1. I trusted them both with my life. One was my husband, the man I married, the man I built a future with. The other was my best friend, the person who knew every secret I'd ever buried. I never imagined the betrayal wouldn't be cheating in the way people expect. Because one night, I overheard a conversation I was never meant to hear. And that's when I realized my husband wasn't in love with me anymore. I found out by accident. He was in love with him, and what I overheard still makes me sick to my stomach. I used to think my life was simple, not perfect, not glamorous, but safe. I was married to Daniel for 7 years. 7 years of shared bills, inside jokes, lazy Sundays, and quiet routines that made life feel predictable, comfortable. And then there was Marcus. Marcus was my best friend since college, the kind of friend people joked about. Are you sure you two aren't secretly dating? But we never were. Not once. He was gay, proudly, openly, unapologetically gay. And I loved him like a brother. When Daniel met Marcus, I remember feeling relieved. They got along instantly. I remember thinking, finally, the two most important men in my life get along. I had no idea I was introducing them to each other's future. Marcus started coming over constantly, too constantly. At first, it was innocent. Netflix nights, wine, long conversations that went past midnight. Then I noticed small things. Daniel stopped coming to bed on time. Marcus knew details about my marriage I hadn't shared. They had inside jokes I didn't understand. When I asked Daniel why he was always texting Marcus, he laughed and said, "Relax, he's gay." I believed him because I trusted both of them. Then came the gaslighting. If I said they felt too close, Daniel said I was jealous. If I said something felt off, Marcus hugged me and told me I was imagining things. "I would never hurt you," he said. The night everything cracked, I came home early. Their voices were low, intimate. I stopped in the hallway. Daniel said, "I've never talked to anyone like this before, not even her." Marcus replied, "I feel like I know you better than anyone. That scares me." My chest tightened. Then Daniel said something that made my blood run cold. "Sometimes I wish I met you first." Silence. Then Marcus whispered, "You did. You just didn't know it yet." That's when I heard a sound I wasn't supposed to hear. A kiss. I didn't storm in. I should have. But my body refused to move. I listened as my husband kissed my best friend in our living room. They talked about how long it had been happening, months. While I cooked them dinner, while Marcus slept in our guest room, while Daniel told me he loved me. Marcus said, "She can never find out." Daniel replied, "I hate lying to her, but I can't stop." I finally confronted Marcus first. He broke down immediately, not because he felt guilty, but because he was afraid of being exposed. "It wasn't supposed to happen," he cried. "I didn't plan to fall in love with him." Then he said something unforgivable. But he came on to me. I confronted Daniel next. He didn't deny the affair. He didn't even apologize. "I didn't mean for it to become physical," he said. "But with him, it feels real." I asked him how many times. He wouldn't answer. I asked him where. He said, "Everywhere. Hotels, our couch, our bed, when I was visiting my sister." And then came the final blow. "I think I'm in love with him," he said. "And I don't know if I ever really loved you the same way." That night, I checked Daniel's email, and I found plane tickets. 2 of them. One destination, a romantic getaway, planned for their anniversary. I confronted them together. No tears, just facts. They admitted everything. The lies, the sneaking around, the nights they told me they were working late. Marcus admitted he had stayed my best friend to stay close to Daniel. Daniel admitted he had thought about leaving me for months. Then he said something that destroyed whatever love I had left. If I could go back, I don't think I'd choose differently. I filed for divorce the next day. Friends took sides, families exploded, the truth spread fast, and then karma arrived. Once the secrecy was gone, their relationship fell apart. Daniel wanted a life Marcus wasn't ready to give. Marcus realized he had built his happiness on my pain. Months later, Daniel came crawling back. He cried, he begged, he said he'd made a mistake. "I lost everything," he said. "Please don't let this be the end." I looked at him and felt nothing. As I walked away, my phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. "I need to tell you something. There's more you don't know." I stared at the message for a long time. "I need to tell you something. There's more you don't know." My hands were shaking, because after everything, the affair, the lies, the divorce, I thought I already knew the worst. I was wrong. I didn't reply. Not that night, not the next morning. But Marcus didn't stop. He sent another message. "Please, this isn't about Daniel choosing me. It's about how all of this started." That's what made my stomach drop. Not how it ended, how it started. I met Marcus in public, a coffee shop, bright lights, too many people. I didn't trust him anymore. Not with my emotions, not with my safety. He looked awful, thinner, hollow, like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. He didn't waste time. "I didn't tell you the truth before," he said, "because if I did, you would have hated me." I crossed my arms. "Try me." He swallowed hard. Daniel didn't come on to me. My heart skipped. I went after him. I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. "You already ruined my marriage," I said. "You don't get bonus points for honesty now." But Marcus shook his head. "You don't understand. I didn't just fall for him." His voice dropped. "I planned it." Marcus told me everything, how he'd been attracted to Daniel almost immediately, how he noticed the cracks in my marriage before I did, how he listened when Daniel complained, encouraged it, validated it. "I made him feel wanted," Marcus said. "I made him feel misunderstood at home." I felt sick. "You manipulated him," I whispered. Marcus nodded. "Yes." But then he said something worse. "I also manipulated you." My breath caught. He reminded me of every fight I'd had with Daniel that he'd helped me through. Every time he subtly suggested, "Maybe you're growing apart. Maybe you don't meet his needs. Maybe he'd be happier if he were freer." I suddenly remembered all the doubts I hadn't had, until Marcus planted them. Then came the final blow. "The night you overheard us," he said, "I knew you were home." I felt like the room tilted. "What?" Marcus looked at me, tears spilling now. I didn't stop him from talking. "I wanted you to hear. I wanted the truth to explode. I demanded to know why. Why destroy my life? Why destroy his?" Marcus's answer chilled me. "Because I was tired of watching you have the life I wanted." He admitted he had always envied me. The marriage, the stability, the future. "I didn't want to steal your husband," he said. "I wanted to destroy the illusion that you had something perfect." I stood up, shaking. But then he said one last thing, the thing that made my blood run cold. "There's something else," he whispered. "Daniel doesn't know this either." Marcus leaned forward. "The first time we slept together, he was drunk. He doesn't remember initiating it." My heart slammed against my ribs. Marcus admitted Daniel had been emotionally vulnerable, intoxicated, and confused. "I let him believe it was mutual," Marcus said. "Because if I didn't, he would have hated himself, and I would have lost him." I left the coffee shop without saying another word. I never confronted Daniel with that truth. I don't know if he'd want to hear it. I don't know if it would heal him or destroy him all over again. Marcus moved away shortly after. New city, new name online, no trace. Daniel and I never reconciled, but sometimes I wonder, did my husband fall in love with my best friend? Or was he pushed, slowly, deliberately, into a betrayal that ruined all three of us? I still have the messages, the ones Marcus begged me to delete. And some nights, I think about sending them to Daniel, because, if I do, he'll finally know the truth, and nothing will ever be the same again. I told myself I was done with secrets, done with betrayal, done carrying other people's guilt. But secrets don't disappear just because you walk away. They wait. I still had the messages, screenshots, voice notes, confessions Marcus never meant anyone else to hear. Proof. Proof that the man I married didn't just cheat. He was led there, blurred lines, alcohol, emotional manipulation dressed up as love. And now, the truth sat in my hands. The question was simple. The answer was not. If I told Daniel the truth, everything would change. He would replay every moment, every touch, every choice he blamed himself for. He would realize that the night everything began, he didn't fully consent. That realization could free him, or it could break him beyond repair. And then there was me. Telling him wouldn't fix my marriage. It wouldn't give me back the years I lost. It wouldn't erase the betrayal. So why did I feel like I owed him the truth? If I said nothing, life could keep moving. Daniel could believe the story he already told himself, that he was the villain, that he ruined everything, that he deserved what he lost. Marcus would get what he wanted, control, even from a distance, and I would carry the weight of a truth that didn't belong to me, but somehow became my responsibility. Part 2. If I said nothing, life could keep moving. Daniel could believe the story he already told himself, that he was the villain, that he ruined everything, that he deserved what he lost. Marcus would get what he wanted, control, even from a distance, and I would carry the weight of a truth that didn't belong to me, but somehow became my responsibility. A month later, Daniel called me. His voice sounded different, tired, smaller. He told me he was in therapy, that he was trying to understand himself. Then he said something that made my throat close. I keep thinking, if I was really that terrible of a person, why do I feel like something was taken from me too, Clara? I closed my eyes, because he was circling the truth without seeing it. Then he asked me the question I had been dreading. You were there, closer than anyone. Is there something I don't remember? Clara, is there something I don't remember? Something you think I should know? I didn't answer right away. I stared at the phone, my thumb hovering over the screen. Because in that moment, I realized something devastating. No matter what I chose, someone was going to suffer. If I told him, I might shatter the version of himself he was barely holding together. If I stayed silent, I would become part of the lie that destroyed us. And for the first time since all of this began, the power was mine. I typed out a message, then deleted it, typed again, deleted again, and finally, I sent 3 words. Not the truth, not a lie, just enough to change everything. Yes, there is. The message showed as read, and then my phone rang. I let it ring. Because before I answer, I need to know. Should I tell him the truth or let him live with a lie that protects him? I answered on the third ring. Clara, Daniel said. His voice broke immediately. You wouldn't say that unless it mattered. I sat on the edge of my bed, phone pressed to my ear, staring at the wall like it might give me permission. There is something you don't remember, I said. And I need you to listen without interrupting me. He went quiet. I told him everything, slowly, carefully, about Marcus's confession, about the manipulation, about the night everything began. I didn't soften it. I didn't dramatize it. I just told the truth. When I finished, there was nothing but breathing on the other end. Then a sound I will never forget. A sob. Raw. Animal. Shattered. I thought I was a monster, Daniel whispered. I thought I ruined my own life. You still made choices, I said gently, but you weren't the villain you convinced yourself you were. Silence. Then, why are you telling me this? I closed my eyes. Because the truth belongs to you, and because I refuse to carry Marcus's guilt any longer. He cried for a long time. So did I. Daniel stayed in therapy. He rebuilt himself slowly, not with me. That chapter was over. Marcus disappeared completely. New city, new life. And me? I learned something painful and powerful. Betrayal doesn't always come from lust. Sometimes it comes from envy, from resentment disguised as love. And sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who know you best. I no longer chase closure. I don't romanticize forgiveness. I chose truth, even when it hurt, especially when it hurt. Some people ask if I regret telling him. No, I do not, because secrets thrive in silence. And this time, the truth finally belonged to the right person. If this story hurt because it felt familiar, I want you to hear this part clearly. Being betrayed by people you love does not mean you were foolish. It means you were open. It means you trusted. And trust is not a weakness. It is a risk brave people take. When someone lies to you, manipulates you, or takes advantage of your love, it can shatter the way you see the world. It makes you question your judgment, your memories, even your worth. But listen to me carefully. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still trying, still searching for meaning, means you're stronger than what was done to you. You didn't lose because you loved deeply. You didn't fail because you believed in someone. You didn't break because you gave your heart honestly. They broke your trust, not your value. Healing after betrayal is not loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's choosing to get out of bed when your heart still aches. It's learning how to sit with the truth without letting it harden you. It's rebuilding your sense of safety from the inside out. Some days, all you'll be able to do is survive. And that is enough. You are allowed to grieve the version of your life you thought you were living. You are allowed to miss people who hurt you. You are allowed to feel angry, confused, numb, or exhausted. But you are not allowed to believe their choices define who you are. The people who lied to you made decisions based on their own wounds, their own insecurities, their own lack of courage. That story belongs to them, not to you. Your story is still being written, and one day you will wake up and realize something quietly miraculous. The betrayal no longer controls your thoughts. The pain no longer speaks for you. The memories no longer have teeth. You will laugh again without guilt, trust again without fear ruling you, love again. Not because you forgot what happened, but because you learned you can survive it. If you are in the middle of the storm right now, hold on, not to the people who hurt you, but to yourself. You don't need revenge. You don't need closure from anyone else. You don't need to rush your healing to prove you're okay. All you need to do is keep going. One honest step, one boundary, one breath at a time. And if no one has told you this yet, I'm proud of you for still choosing to live, even after being lied to by the people you loved most. You are not broken, you are becoming, and that matters more than you know. Good night from Color and Tales.